Hello, it's Ricardo and welcome back to Battlestar Galactica Deadlock, Season 1 and Sin and Sacrifice DLC. The Sin and Sacrifice DLC marks the end of Season 1 for Battlestar Galactica Deadlock, and as a result of this we all look forward to Season 2. Now this is Mission 9 of the 11 mission campaign that comes with this particular DLC, entitled The Last Line. The last line of defence here is going to be at Caprica, where the Cylons turn up, and a little bit indicative of what happened in the Ron Moore re-envisaging and the destruction of the colonies. They've got some nukes. So it's going to be a nuke defence mode for this particular mission. In the orbit of Caprica, we're going to rock in with our fleet. We're going to hopefully get ourselves Viper heavy. We're going to make sure we've got some ships that can give some good flak screens. And we're going to defend against the ongoing Cylon threat. Now, the campaign seems to be accelerating in pace now. It was quite sedate at the beginning, and they've done a really good job. Blacklab have done a really good job of ensuring that acceleration and the enthusiasm with the way the campaign is progressing. As you can see, we've got Caprica, that lovely jewel of the colonies in the background. We've got our Daedalus. Galactica has got to be with us as well on this mission. We've got our Galactica and we've got our Daedalus, so there's no point having them all split up. We've got to make sure as well we've got a good enough fighter screen to intercept these missiles. As they say, this is the last line of defense. The story will tell us people are going to start evacuating, and we have got to protect colonists that are trying to get off the planet. Sound familiar? All this has happened before and has happened again. Let's check out the story.
Fleet group is jumping in 3, 2, 1. Jump complete. Cylon units across the board. It looks like they've only just started to hit Caprica City.
Commander, stop those nukes from reaching atmosphere. The people down there are relying on us. We won't forsake them now.
So there you have it. Cylons have rocked up, we're in position, and they're launching nukes at Caprica City.
Yes, sir.
So this is very, very bad, as you'd imagine. Nuclear Armageddon is never very good. So our Colonial Fleet is going to step up and take them out. Okay, so let's get our ships into position then. We'll launch all our squadrons, get the fighter screen in place, and with the fighter screen in place, we stand a good chance of missile interception. Now, so far, only a few Cylons on the board, but I've got a sneaky suspicion that these are going to jump in a little bit later. So, ships that I've got: a Jupiter, a Minerva, I've got another Minerva, I've got a Minotaur, I've got an Adamant, and I've got a Manticore. So, got some heavy hitting Battlestars, some heavy hitting hardware in the sector. Now, you can see Raiders have launched from the ships. I'm setting some defense screens as well around the Battlestars, but also what I'm going to do is you're able to set a fighter defense screen around Caprica. Now you think, I didn't know that, I thought it was only ships, but you can do it. So you've got to select back through the options and you'll see Caprica as an option to defend against. And that's great because you can ensure that you've got a fighter screen to intercept some of the nukes there as well. Of course, all depends how many nukes are being launched at any one time. So we're just going to set out, our initial attack plan and sort of separate and fan out our ships so we get a good cover with flak screens and a Viper screen. Going to move some Vipers into position just so that any nukes that are launched from those ships, they stand a good chance of intercepting them first. So there you see, you had it there, the Caprica option to assign a Viper screen to protect Caprica. Now this really is a great campaign I've played. One of the best, I think, and engaging campaigns of a game I've played for quite some time. It really does suck you in, especially at this level, around Mission 9. You know, and this, you can see they launched. There's a lot of air superiority from the Cylons here. I think we're currently about evenly matched.
Understood.
Plus, they're going to start launching their nukes, so I'm going to be split. So we're going to be relying on the guns from the Battlestars as well to try and take out some of the fighter squadrons. That's going to be difficult enough in itself, as well as targeting the capital ships that are not only launching the missiles, but launching the fighters. So we've got Viper Mark 1 and Viper Mark 2 squadrons in the air. I thought at least having one Battlestar with Viper Mark 1 ships was prudent, because you do get a lot more. Now more jumping in.
More hostile marks on the board.
They'll try to spread us so thin that we can't cover all of their angles. We'll need to contain them as best we can.
And that's exactly what the Cylons are doing. As you can see, they've jumped in now. We've had that little bit of an insert there from Agathon and the other commander, who are saying, they're spreading us too thin. How are we going to protect this? And that's exactly what they're doing. They're coming over to the right as well, where the main group is right in the middle of the screen, as you can see. That's going to spread our Vipers very thinly, and it's going to get us to split up our fleet.
Missiles
That's
on their
okay.
way.
We're going to carry on firing missiles.
On it, Commander.
We're going to get some munitions out there. Start lashing those Cylon ships with our guns and the turrets. Hopefully you'll be alright. So here come the first barrage of missiles. You can see there's a nuke being launched on the right hand side.
I have a call coming in from Vergon OBC. They're requesting a private audience.
Put him on speaker. Whatever he has to say, you can all hear it.
Lucinda, it was not supposed to happen like this. You have to understand, I never intended for them to go this far without you.
You should have told me. You've sacrificed 1/3 of the colonies. And for what? A fleeting moment of insecurity?
It is 1 year that can be used to negotiate a lasting peace. We tried our best to make Colonial Fleet work. But you can't be blamed for the weakness of others.
The weakness of others. Fitting that's the last thing I should hear from you. Cut the call, Lieutenant. This traitor has taken enough of our time.
As you can see, it was the Vergon royal family. Well, thanks for that. You've sacrificed 1/3 of the colonies for 1 year of peace. Cylons now have a foothold. They have a place where they can call home and they can thrive. Colonial Fleet is going to be on the back foot. You know, the president has been assassinated. So, you know, where'd you go from here? Well, an all-out battle to try and save whatever represents the colonies is now underfoot. So this is turning into a right old scrappy battle. More ships, more fighters, nukes being fired all the time, tying up our fighter squadron so we can't engage with our fighter screen directly at the threat that's coming at us. Battlestar's taking damage. You've got a flak screen on the go to try and cancel out some of those missiles.
IFF confirms unit is hostile.
It's a Cylon ship gone. Great.
So
Base Star has now revealed itself. We've got to try and take that thing out, because that's going to be one of the main things, pumping all the missiles out towards Caprica. So this is going to be scrappy, because the ships we've got engaged in that section of the screen are not heavy enough to not avoid taking any damage. So I think the best thing is to start lashing it with some missiles, whilst using the guns on the ships that are closest to us to try and prevent even more missiles being sent off towards the colony. Now our ships are starting to take a pounding. Systems are starting to take a pounding as well.
Minerva's taking
So far we haven't lost any ships, but we are going to lose a Battlestar because their stats are dropping really quickly.
contacts. Commander, this isn't going to be the last either. The signal patterns are the same as every other mass troop movement we've seen.
Oh, wonderful. More Cylons have jumped in. And as they say, this is the biggest deployment of Cylons and troops they've ever seen. Well, great. So what are we going to do about it? We're still capped at 8,000 command points. And for this game, I think it would be great if that could be increased. I want to see more grandiose battles in Season 2. I want to see the might of a colonial fleet being brought to bear against the Cylon. Now that sounds a little bit, you know, a little bit aggressive, doesn't it? But when you think about it, you're tied to a command limit. And that's why I think I quite enjoyed some of the games like the early Command and Conquers. Whereas you could just keep building and building and building and building and building,
Yes,
and you'd have an army. A huge army. Which you could say, right, I want all you lot in there. Even to the point where when you can increase population caps on other games like Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds and things like that, or Empire at War, makes the newer machines that we have, the i7s, the i5s, the high megahertz processors, are able to handle it, and able to handle that amount of complexity on screen. So it's a shame that we're capped, you know, so low. 8,000 command points, from my point of view, isn't enough. Not for this game. You want to go in there mob-handed and stand a chance. Or perhaps that's the idea of the developers. So you see, you know, the base stars revealed itself. How the hell are we going to get out of this one? I don't know. So far, we're doing okay. Some of the Minerva's class Battlestars are taking a right old pounding, but then again, they're lashing out a good old pounding against the Cylons as well. And, you know, it's difficult to know what to do. Just that you've got to stop the nukes coming, and you've got to prepare yourself for more Cylons that are constantly jumping in. So yeah, I'm quite adverse to there being population caps within games. I like to build as many units as I possibly can, right, with the money that I've got. And you know, no cheats have been involved on this game at all, which I think is great. You know, so far, if there are cheats, I don't know about them, and that suits me fine. So what I'm interested in really is lots of units on the screen, so I can just mow through them. Huge show of force. I think that would be really good and really compelling. Not only for people to watch, but to play as well. That would really test your strategy. So I'm doing some repairs. Not sure what good that's going to do me. At this late stage of the game, just got to make sure the cannons are shooting, because I haven't got any missiles to fire it yet because they're reloading. Perhaps that could be an upgradable option as well for Season 2, where you could increase the upgrade stats of the missile reload time as your crew gains extra veterancy. So we're still engaging those Battlestars. Fighter screens are still in protection of Caprica. We've got a Jupiter, the Galactica is down there on the bottom right-hand side. And again, with the Galactica, you would have thought, you know, it's an iconic ship, and the first of the Jupiter-class Battlestar to be thrown out. So it is basically the prototype.
A Battlestar is being hacked.
Why only one missile bank? Why not two? Why not make it the real force to be reckoned with, just on that one ship?
Minerva is taking damage.
Make it a game changer so that when it does jump in...
Sir, more droid
oh look,
contacts.
more Cylons.
I'm also receiving lots of civilian requests for evacuation coordinates. They want to jump out of the system, but the Cylons are taking down the local Idris networks. None of the civilian jump computers can handle the calculations by themselves.
We can make the calculations, though, correct?
It'll take time. I'll need help from somewhere. Like Clothos.
So now they're going to get the Cylon to come in and do the jump coordinates?
Broadcast the jump coordinates on an open channel as soon as you have them, and have the fleet prepared to jump directly after.
But the Cylons will also know where they're all headed.
So we'll need to make sure that we are already there waiting for them. We can't do much more for Caprica City now, but we can at least ensure anyone who is already off-planet can make it to the treaty systems.
Okay, so the Cylons patched in. They're going to do a jump, because the Idris system network satellites for jumping is down. So they really are doing a number. But we're going to get in there and we're going to engage. So we're going to lose a Battlestar any minute. I'm not sure exactly what other damage that thing can do. We can't ram anything.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be toast.
Minerva
Lots
down.
of damage on the subsystems as well on the ships.
Frack, why is this taking so long?
Lieutenant, we can use my
Okay.
host's processing power
More
to
story.
filter out the non-essential orbit calculations. It will, however, require a direct interface with your jump computer.
Yeah, that is not going to happen.
How many civilians do you estimate can be evacuated from Caprica with your broadcast?
I don't know. Assuming the embassy checkpoints and orbital stations haven't already been evacuated, depends on the amount of air traffic already out, whether anyone will enforce launch restrictions.
Just give me a number, Lieutenant.
Rough estimate, 200,000.
Do it. Give Klothos access to whatever it needs. Better that we save 200,000 than all wait here to die.
Okay, so it's got core access. It's going to coordinate the jumps. All we've got to do is hold off the Cylon fleet and the missiles. While calculations are done, we've got 3 turns to wait. By the looks of it. Still intercepting the nuclear warheads.
Understood. Understood.
Okay, so far so good. We've got a base star down. We've taken a hit on a battle star as well. That was to be expected. They're whittling down our fighter squadrons as well, so we can now start to round our guns on the remaining Battlestar. We're going to use the fighter screen from the Daedalus to start intercepting nukes, just in case. Yeah, we're going to crash into something. God knows what. Let's just do a quick adjustment.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to lose ships needlessly. There goes that turn.
Manticore is
Base
taking
star
damage.
to right pounding. We're going to
Adamant
start
is
pounding
taking
the next one. Still 2 more ships that haven't yet revealed themselves. Oh, look, here comes more. What are they saying here? Calculation
Broadcasting
complete.
coordinates
Right.
now. Stragglers
Ships are gonna
almost
start
done
jumping.
schooling. Prepare for jump in 20. Understood.
2 turns left. We're going to start giving those Cylon base stars another pounding.
Understood. Adamant is taking damage. Minotaur is taking damage.
Okay, we are taking a huge amount of damage here, but so far, I mean, we've got a Minotaur
We've lost an Adamant.
is
sir.
lashing it out. We've got an
Jump in
Adamant
12,
that has just
11.
dropped off the board.
We've got a problem over here. We can't come with you.
9.
Galactica's got a problem with its FTL.
What? Galactica, repeat. I didn't hear that right.
You heard properly. We've got problems with our FTL computer. I think the Cylons have got into it somehow, and Tech can't flush them out. We can't make the jump.
No. Sam, fix it. You have to come with us. We can wait.
I'm sorry, Lena. You need to go. We'll catch up.
Jumping in 4.
So the Split Sisters are split up. The
Sam,
Cylon's
don't
jumping.
leave me again.
Galactica is left behind at Caprica.
Jumping fleet.
And the fleet is now jumping.
So say we all.
Now, you can't fire any missiles because a lot of the fleet is jumping, so Galactica is there on its own.
Commander.
All you can do now is let the fleet jump. Don't take many more hits or do anything too stupid. That base star is still there.
On it, Commander.
I mean, really, at this stage, all you've got to do is press end turn, and that is it. And the ships are going to start to jump away. So that was
Missiles
the last
incoming.
line, or the last line of defense mission. Mission 9 for Battlestar Galactica Deadlock, Sin and Sacrifice. Cool stuff. Let's watch the replay.
Yes, the Cobalt Alliance has ratified the ceasefire with Cylon Command. The peoples of Helios Gamma, Delta, and Beta will see no more violence from today. This is our opportunity to create a long-lasting peace for all the people of Cyranus.
There's no way that conniving Dagger worked all this out by herself. How do you know this Cylon hasn't been in on it all along? That's the only way they could have done a black op of this scale so quickly.
I was not involved, Praetor, and it was not quick. Do you know how long it takes for a broadcast transmission to reach Helios Alpha from Canteron?
Of course I don't.
1,413 hours, assuming perihelion and relays are set to zero loss throughput.
Indeed. Admittedly, that is too long for Minister Winutu to maintain operational security from data loss. A more viable minimum delta of 48 hours is possible using a relay just outside of Helios Alpha.
What's your point, Clothos?
Colonial Fleet's betrayal was architected well before President Russo had left Libran.
So, what do we do now?
Our moral duty, Lieutenant. It seems we... No. It is evident I had forgotten that. Colonial Fleet was created to protect our people. That hasn't changed. We fight for those the Cobalt Alliance has left behind. This is a war we can no longer win. Maybe we never were going to win, but we can still help those who can't defend themselves. And in doing so, we leave a fire to guide anyone who follows after us.
Jenks on the first nugget to lose their kill slot.
Time to make a bunch of mama toasters cry.
Second Edition 1, I repeat, Second Edition 1, this is not a drill. Get him, get him!
Come on, come on, come on. We're gonna hammer the frakkins till they can't get back up. Switching gun to manual. Optimize the fire. Nothing but the rain. We're taking fire. Not today, tin can.
Arc incoming on priority 1.
Target is 4 by 9-5. Solution updated. Target acquisition maintained. Intercepted.
Wrap your side on, Colonel. They're already here.
Firing on target. Set secondary battery. Full attack mode. Fire at will. Drive spool. On your mark, Captain.
I don't care where we go. Jump up now.
yourself out. The Cylon interference. They're breaching our firewalls.
So the Galactica is left behind in defense of Caprica with a broken FTL, which they're trying to fix. The rest of the fleet is jumping off. What's going to happen next? Check back in that next video. I've been Ricardo. This has been Battlestar Galactica Sin and Sacrifice. If you haven't done so, click that like and subscribe button and the notification icon, and check back for more videos in this RTS series.